We're at the Lone Star Conference Football Media Day in 2024 here in McKinney, Texas. Privileged to get to visit with Kris McCullough, who is the head football coach for UTPB, Texas-Permian Basin. And, Coach, you're coming off a conference championship in your first season with the program in the Lone Star Conference. You run 8-0 through divisional play, make it to the playoffs. Let's talk about the positives of last season really quickly.
Yeah, you heard a lot of coaches stand on the stage and talk about how close games didn't fall their way. For us, they did fall our way, right? We were on the right side of history. There's so many good teams in this conference, and the Lone Star has been a powerhouse for years. And to take UTPB, who's never had a winning season, and go 8-0 in league play, and then obviously 10-2 on the season with conference championship and playoff berth, man, it's incredible. But it's a testament to our guys and our leaders in our locker room that we've had, whether it was last year and this year, just buying into our culture.
You know, that's fantastic for you too, Coach, because it was your first season as the head football coach there at the program. So you come in, I guess I don't know, how do you follow that up? What do you do as an encore for that?
Well, it's the sour taste of Bemidji that really fuels us right now. Obviously, we want to win a Lone Star Conference championship again and not overlook any of these people. But when we get the chance to play late November, December again, we need to take advantage of it. I did not do a good job as a head coach preparing our guys to play well against Bemidji. Our defense played lights out, but as an offensive coordinator and head coach, I didn't perform well on offense. I didn't have an answer for them. They were a very good football team, very well right answers, and that's fueled me as a head coach to get better in areas that I struggled in, and our team as well. So going into 2024, that's the driving force, is finding a way to get back in the playoffs and actually make a run this time.
Coach, I know numbers are just numbers. You all were picked third in the Lone Star Conference preseason poll, and that's coming off a season in which you went unscathed through the league. Talk about what that means. And besides Bemidji, is that fuel to the fire as well?
Oh, absolutely. Last year we were picked seventh, and we hung it all across the locker room, all across the building. I wanted our guys to see what people thought about us. You just use it as fuel, like you just said. So number 3 in the conference after dominating in the sense of going 8-0 in the conference. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hang it up in the locker room. We're going to use it as fuel to the fire. And hopefully that sour taste that we had against Bemidji, we don't feel again this year.
All right. One of the things that you said up there as well, you said the culture changed overnight, which, I would imagine, it doesn't always happen that quickly with a new coach and new coaching staff, but it did in your case. How do you keep that consistent? You don't want to change overnight now from year 1 to year 2, but how do you keep that going? You don't have a whole lot of, less than half of your starters returning.
Yeah, I think last year it was easier because we brought so many guys from our previous institution, East Central University in Oklahoma. We brought 10 starters from that school over. We brought more transfers in. UTPB had never had a winning season. So really these guys that were in the locker room, they just wanted something to grasp onto, something to believe in. They were just on the edge of breaking through before we took the program over, and we were able to get them over the hump. We were able to get that culture of family and brotherhood ingrained into their hearts and into their minds, and they bought into it, and we rolled with it. Now this year, we don't have those same transfers that came from the previous institution, right? So obviously we got to replace those with people in the program or people outside the program. But it's really a driving factor. Just get into certain things and you throw adversity in there. How do they respond? Are they going to stay a family? Are they going to stay a brotherhood? Or are they going to start pointing fingers? I think that's where you see if cultures work or not. It's that first sign of adversity. And last year, luckily we had it against Western Colorado. We had it against WT, and we were able to come out on top against WT in overtime. This year, it's going to probably take an event like that, right? How do we respond when something happens to us? That's going to dictate our season and what this culture is this year.
One other thing I want to mention also that, again, comes from something you said earlier. You talked about the transfer portal more than anybody else here in McKinney today talked about the transfer portal, but I think sometimes people think of the transfer portal much more when you're dealing with Division I than Division II. How much do you see that as a part of your recruiting tool?
Yeah, like Coach Gersh said right after me, there's no doubt we're still going to recruit Texas high school football. It's the best high school football in the country. We're going to sign 25, 35 guys in that. But we know those immediate needs, those immediate, how do I get better right now? play pieces. You got to get in the transfer portal. We were able to do that a year ago and change everything. And then this year we had to do the same thing. We had to get better up front on the offensive line. We had to get better in the secondary. And that's where we attacked in the transfer portal, and we did just that. You know, transfer portal for us in the D2 world, it goes both ways. We great football players. We lost our all-conference D tackle to Stephen F. Austin. It's going to happen. But how do you replace that? Well, the transfer portal is a great opportunity. You may lose an all-conference kid here. You may bring in 2 all-conference guys to replace them. So you have to use it to your advantage, not just your loss.
Season gets underway against a Lone Star Conference opponent, so you get a chance to try to defend that title right off the bat, Western New Mexico. Talk a little bit about the way your season opens.
Yeah, I'm joyful that it's at home, that we don't have to go to Silver City like last year. It's just a long road trip. But being at Ratliff Stadium in Odessa is where we're going to open up before we move our home games to Midland at towards the end of the year. Playing in-conference opponents different last year. Last year you had 2 kind of warm-ups before you get into conference play, and it's not that way this year. You heard all these coaches say how great the Lone Star is. Well, you get fired up week 0 this year, immediately, a week before last year, obviously adding the extra week. So get everybody to fall camp earlier. The excitement is here faster now, which is great, but you still got to go out there and just compete, whether you're playing Western New Mexico or the next week at on the road in a top 25 environment. So either way, you got to go 1-0 every single week and find a way to beat your opponent.
All right. Well, the Falcons are the defending champs here in the Lone Star Conference and looking to defend that title right off the bat in league play. Coach Kris McCullough, thank you so much, sir, for taking time with us today. Success to you all and to UTB this season is year number 2, just about to get underway.
Appreciate you.